Okay, we're going to do the warm-up from this morning. Here's what you should have been able to get from last lesson about the PPC growth and opportunity cost. Whenever you're solving graphs or writing out the answers to an FRQ, it's a good habit to practice writing your answers in the form that they were written in as a question. What I mean by that is the first one I'm going to label as number 1 because it's asking me to draw a PPC with coconuts and fish on the X and Y axis. So always do what the question asks you to do. So for this one, I'm going to label coconuts and fish because it didn't tell me which ones to label them. If it doesn't say, just make sure that you label them the same if you end up doing 2 for comparative advantage. So I'm going to have coconuts and fish, and it says that they're producing 5 coconuts and 7 fish. So if we're producing, at this point, 5 coconuts and 7 fish, I would have 5 coconuts, and I go over and down, and I have my 7 fish. Now the question says that it needs to show a change in production or allocative efficiency to even. So if they're even, that's a 1-to-1 trade-off. That means I'm going to give up a fish and gain a coconut. So then we're going to move to 6 and 6. So I can see on the graph that we're going to have a change in production from, let's call this FC1 to FC2, and then my arrow. So I gave up some fish to get more coconuts. That was the opportunity cost. And let me zoom in a little bit here. Anytime we have a change in production, this is going to create a movement along the curve. And that movement shows us production at FC1 and moving to FC2 for fish, coconut 1. And just make sure you label it however they tell you to, and you'll be good. That's what the label should be. Let me zoom in right there so you can see that a little bit more. And then you can pause it to have a better look at it. So now, number 2, draw the 5 versions of the PPC. And the 5 versions of the PPC are going to be the law of increasing opportunity cost. And that's going to be a curve that bows outward. And we're going to have the law of decreasing opportunity cost. That's going to be a curve that bows inward. We're going to have a constant, and that's a 1-to-1 trade-off. And we'll have growth, and we'll have the opposite of growth, which is where the curve comes back in because you lose people, resources, or technology gets worse. So that's number 2. Those are our 5 versions of the PPC. And what's cool about FRQs is if they say show growth, you only have to do that. If they tell you to label, do that. Just always do what you're told to do. Don't do anything extra. Just play the notes in front of you for you musicians out there. Okay, number 3, draw a PPC with the 3 points of production and label them as inefficient. Remember, that's inside the curve. It means we're not producing we have unemployment. We're not using our resources efficiently. We have E for efficient. That means everybody's working. All the jobs are filled. All the resources are good with quality and quantity. And then we have unattainable as a point outside the curve that we can't get to because we don't have enough resources, people, or technology. So number 4, write out the 3 keys to economic growth. That's full employment, resources, and technology. FERT. Remember, fertilizer makes something grow. Number 5, show on the graph the economic growth that we found in number 4 for all the keys. So now my economic growth is I could have made this much GDP. Now I can make all that GDP. Number 6, got my long run aggregate supply, price level, full employment, Let me center that up. And GDPR. So now, if we have any improvement in resources, people, technology, and that stuff, we can have economic growth. And now we could have made this much GDP. Now we can make this much. And that's our growth right there that we found. And that's reflective of that. Remember, increase right, decrease left. Okay. Now, capital stock for number 7. What are our 3 parts? We got human, real, and financial. So human capital is our skills and our abilities in human. Our real capital is our tools, our machines. Our financial capital is our money we use to buy our tools and machines. Okay. Number 8. Net investment. IG stands for investment. So anytime we improve our capital more than it depreciated, so if we fix and repair our machines or buy new ones that is more positive, that means we can have economic growth. So if we have 5 trucks and 3 are broken, that's a negative net investment. If we fix all 3 of them and they improve, then we have positive net investment. So that is how we explain net investment being positive or negative. Did we improve our real capital throughout the year?